Hey, Loopline here, and there's a great new premium plugin from Scrapebox called the Automator. What the Automator does is it automates functions of Scrapebox, meaning that rather than having to click to test proxies and then use proxies and then scrape for some keywords and load in the keywords and then harvest URLs and then post to them and click each thing, wait for it to be done, check back, and set a timer and stuff like that so you can use Scrapebox in the most efficient manner. You can load it all up as a big long sequence, load it into the Automator up here, and Scrapebox will do it all one right after another and give you the finished results. So if you have Scrapebox latest version, you're good to go. Otherwise, you need to update to the latest version. At the time of this video, it's 1.15.58, but it's important as new updates come out, especially when you're using add-ons or premium plugins with them, that you always are using the latest version of Scrapebox, because certain things in an add-on or a plugin might not actually interact with Scrapebox correctly or at all if you don't have the latest version of Scrapebox, because they are tied together at some level. So make sure you update to the latest version. Once you have that, you can go to Premium Plugins, Available Plugins, and at the time of this video you can see Rank Tracker and Automator. We'd click on Automator, follow through the purchase process. Once that's done, then you would double click on it to download it. Once it's downloaded and installed, you go to Premium Plugins and Automator Plugin, and it will load it to plugin. Now you can see here we have the Automator menu, but this is just where we load in what's called a job file. And basically what happens is you go into the Automator plugin and you tell it what all you want it to do, and then you save that as a job and go back into Scrapebox and load it, and then Scrapebox actually runs through all the functions. So let's break down each function of the Automator plugin. We have available commands. When we click on one, it loads it over here into the command sequence. Now the command sequence is just the list of events, so it's going to perform this one first, then move on to the next one. When it's done, move on to the next one, and so on. When we click on each one of these, we see parameters that we can set for each one. So if I wanted to use proxies, I would tick off the use proxies checkbox. If I wanted to then go ahead and look at the test proxies, testing proxies by default is going to test them and keep the anonymous proxies. If I tick off this box, it also tests them against Google and only keeps the ones that pass Google, which is pretty much the same thing as the proxy harvester. Now you can filter and keep anonymous or filter and keep Google. And that's all it's doing, is it's just doing those functions for you automatically. So it's doing the manage function for you here, and then the filter function in this section. And then of course use proxies would be, it's just ticking this box for you to use proxies. So harvest keywords, this one brings up more options. Now it is going to be basically the keyword scraper that it integrates with. So we can put in a root keyword. So let's say car, for instance, and I'm going to do Google suggest. And then I can get up to 10 results. So let's say I get, I don't know, 10 results, for instance, plus my original keyword. And then I can remove duplicates. And let's say I have 8 results. If I just leave this at level 1 depth, it'll take those 8 results and it will load them right back into Scrapebox for the next segment, whatever I want to do with them. If I do, say, level 2, it'll take and load those 8 results from here back over here along with the original keyword, and then I can scrape again, or well, it will automatically scrape again, and then get results. And I can do that up to 4 levels, so it'll keep loading in the keywords back over here. When it's done, remove duplicates, and it will send all the keywords right back to here. The harvest URLs is also pretty basic. First, I see this clear harvested URLs before start. That actually clears out what's over here, so it's just hitting this clear button. And because this is just automating Scrapebox, if I happen to have been doing some things or whatever and I have some URLs left over here and a footprint and then some keywords, when this job file loads, if I don't hit clear, these URLs will stay here, and any harvested URLs will actually just get added to them. So if I want to start fresh, you need to make sure you tick that off or have this box clear when you start. But you know, it makes sense to just take this off. That way, if you're running the same job over and over and over again because you create a job you want to use several times, then you're not going through and having to remember these things, because that's pointless. You have the Automator to do that for you. You also have, of course, your engines, pretty basic. That's right here. And then you have your footprint, which is up here. You have your custom footprints, which is right here. You have your keywords, which is just the keyword box. Then I can load in a file, which is the same as going to import and load. And then I have my results, which is the same as here. and then I have export harvested URLs as. That would be the same as whatever is harvested over here. I go to export and save as a text file. So a couple of things here. One is that I can put keywords up here, but if I load in a file, you'll notice it ignores the typed in keywords. So if I type in keywords up here, then it will put those here, but if I load a file, it would just ignore these altogether. So you can't do both in the same function. And then whenever you want to export, you just basically choose a file, and we can just call it scraped URLs exported, and do that, and it will save that file. Now after that, we can remove duplicates. For instance, maybe we want to remove duplicate URLs or duplicate domains. That's the same thing as duplicate URLs and domains here. That's what it's calling. And then transfer harvested list. So say I scrape up some keywords, test my proxies, get me a list of URLs, and then I want to go ahead and comment on them. I can transfer the URLs to blogs list or websites list. That's the same as here, which transfers URLs to blogs list or websites list, which respectively shoots them down here in the websites category or the blogs category. So if I wanted to comment on them, I'd shoot them down to the blogs category, which would take them down here, transfer to blogs list, and then I would load in my other 4 things, such as names, emails, websites, and comments to comment with. And so let's go to post content. That's the fast poster equivalent comment poster here. That's what it's going to load up is fast poster, and then we have to load in our names, our emails, our websites, and our comments, which is these 4 here. If we've done the transfer option where we're sending this down here, don't load anything in this box here because it's already going to have transferred URLs down here for you. Then we have the option to export success. Pretty basic. That's the same thing here as export posted entries, and then we can also export failed, which is the same thing as export failed entries after it is posted. Now then after that's done, we can go into check links or whatever. So let's just follow through here. Check links, I can select websites, blogs, and then save off the links found. So again, under check links I do websites and blogs, and so then basically I'd hit check links and export links found and choose a file to save that as. Then I can also do trackbacks, and you would same thing here as when you do trackbacks. You load in your blogs, your excerpts, and your actual blog list that you're going to post to, and then of course again I get the option to export success and export failed. Then I have clear footprints. You'll notice it says no parameter. That's just because when you do this there's no options to select, and that's normal. So clear footprints would be clear out this box up here, same thing as this clear key here, and clear keywords would be clear keywords here. And the reason for that is because if you wanted to do a run where you bring in, so let's go back here, do a run where you bring in keywords and you do a harvest, and then you turn around and then you bring in more keywords and do another harvest. If you're typing in keywords or you have a footprint up here, and we're back here to harvest URLs, so say I have this site.edu up here and I want that for the first run, and then now that we're down here I do another harvest URLs and I just put in the word car because I just want to harvest URLs for the word car, for instance, or load in a file. If I don't clear this, that will stay there. Even though I don't have anything in here, you can view the job file as this information gets added into Scrapebox, just like if I was loading in or typing in these things individually. So if I just type in the word car, it doesn't clear this out. And likewise, when I have this loaded up, if I just have the word car put in here, it's just adding that information in. It's not clearing it. So if I wanted this to be cleared out, so I'm not just doing site.edu for car, then I would have to do this clear footprints, and likewise clear keywords so that the word car doesn't get added into other keywords that I might type into my project file, like boat, I don't know. Anyways, you get the point there. It basically gives you flexibility to clear things out, and then of course this obviously clears your harvested URLs, because if I harvest for car, URLs get stacked up over here, say there's 1,000, and then I harvest for boat on farther down the road here, it just gets added to this, just like when you're harvesting in normal. So if I harvest here and start harvesting and then turn around and harvest for a new keyword, they just get added together. And then if you're doing a comment poster, you might be, if you're doing this and posting comments and then harvesting more URLs and posting comments, if you do that 5 times in a row, by the time you get down to the 5th one, you have all the URLs from all 5 sets of harvests all stacked up here, and they're all being commented on every time. And so that just is unnecessary to continue to comment over and over and over again on the same URLs. Not to mention could be a problem depending on what you're doing. So that gives you some nice flexibility there. And then when we're done, we get to wait, which is pretty nice. I can select anything from a second to a week, and then I can punch in stuff up here, and I can even go all the way out to 6 nines, which is like 11 days or something like that. Anyways, you can grab a calculator and figure it out, 60 seconds in a minute, and so on. So say I set up a project and I just want to start a new job, and I just want to post content, and I load in a list of 1,000 URLs because I want to do some drip fed links. So I load in 1,000 URLs to post, and then I wait. Let's say I wait a day, and then tomorrow I want to post another 1,000 links. So I load in another list of 1,000 links right here, and then I say wait, and then do a day. And so then on the third day, let's say I don't have a list to load in, so say I want to load in some keywords, and we'll do harvest URLs, and I want to bring in up to 1,000 results on the word. Let's do car again. And then once I get those, I want to post content, and then wait another day. So you could set this up and be posting 1,000 URLs a day, come back in a week, and you've drip fed out 1,000 URLs a day for a whole week, and you haven't had to do anything other than create your job, load it in, and walk away. And of course, that's the real beauty of the Automator plugin, is it makes Scrapebox efficient because you can go from one sequence to the next without having to remember to check up on it and manually intervene. And you also get the option of stretching things out over a time period without having to go in there every day and load up another list and hit post. It's just all automatic, and it just all works. And then I get the option I can move things up, move things down, so because it's going to function again in order that this is. And then I can delete a command if I don't want it, and then I can also duplicate a command. So like say my post content, say my names and emails and websites and comments are the same for each day, I can just hit, and I can maybe leave out the success and the failed because I want that to be separate for each day in the blogs list. But I can hit duplicate command, and it'll just make another duplicate copy of it down here. And so once I have all my duplicates, then I can load in like my blogs list, or maybe it's generated from harvesting URLs, so it doesn't matter. And I can just do different export successes and failed and that sort of thing. So that's pretty awesome. And then when I go to save this, so once it's done, I would basically save the job, and then I load it into Scrapebox here. So if I hit save, it's going to say, hang on, you told me to post content, but you didn't give me names and emails and comments and that sort of thing. When I click OK, it's going to jump to what it's talking about. And obviously we didn't do it with any of them, so if I fill this first one out and hit save job, then it's going to jump to the second one, which is really great because it's great to have a fail-safe, because if you get into this long sequence of events, you know, basic things, if you happen to forget something, like say you load up everything but comments, it's going to say, I don't have any comments, because obviously it's not going to work without comments, and it could be smack in the middle of a sequence, and you could ruin the whole rest of the sequence of events by not having comments if things are all tied together. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But you get the point. It's really great to have a fail-safe here. So, alright, so let's just do a sample job here so you can kind of see it in action. So let's do a harvest URLs, and I'm going to do Google, leave no footprint. Let's do blog engine, movable type, for instance. We'll do car and boat, and then we're going to set the results to 300. And after that's done, I'm going to remove duplicate URLs and then transfer the harvested list down to the blogs list so I could post with it. I'm going to save the current job, call it video run here, just replace my previous sample, exit out of this, go to the Automator, run the Automator file, and as soon as you run it, you can start to see things happening in Scrapebox. So we'll run this, you can see it brought in the keywords, it's now harvesting and running through there, and it changed it to movable type up here. As soon as that's done, we'll see it's removing duplicates, and you saw those change in the background there, and it loaded them there, and then it loaded them down here. So we have 554, click the edit, and there's our 554 results. And that's as simple as it is, and it did all that just by running one job. Now, what I personally like to do with the Automator is to link to files. So if I'm going to take a job and run it over and over again, for instance, you can take and create an Automator job file. Let me load the plugin back up here. And let's say that I want to harvest URLs. And then after I get done with my URLs, remove duplicates, transfer lists, and then post content. Well, and then I want to do it all over again. So then I want to harvest URLs, you know, so on and so forth. So let's say just these two simple things. So let's go here and let's load in a file. And so I'm going to create a new file here. Keyword file 1. And then create a new file. Keyword file 2. So follow me here. So the first set of URLs, I'm going to load in keyword file 1. And then let it do its thing. Set this like 1,000 results, and WordPress is fine, Google's fine, whatever. And then remove let's clear these two. Remove duplicate URLs, transfer to harvested blogs list, post content. Let's presume that I loaded all this up and I export my success and failed and whatever. Then I want to harvest some more URLs and do the whole thing over again. Clear this off, and let's do the other file, keyword file 2, 1,000 results. And you know, this sort of stuff, just running through here, and I load all this up. Now what I can do is to just replace files. So once I have this job saved and I load this in Scrapebox and let it run, then those two keyword files, which I have pulled up here, keyword file 1, keyword file 2, they're there. Now I can turn around and create a whole new job, go back in here and either load this job back up and then edit it and go to harvest URLs, browse, find myself a new keyword file, harvest URLs, browse, find myself a new keyword file, maybe change post content file, but let's say I want to leave that the same for this example's sake. And so I have to go through all this loading back up and harvesting URLs and changing to a different file. Or what I can do is I can just edit these files, because that project is mapped to these files. So I just put in my new keywords in here and then just save them off. And so once I have that done, then I can turn around and just load my file back in. And that's the beauty of having a job that's linked to files. And then next time I can come in here on round 3 and just change these to other keywords that I want. And so then I can keep running the same job over and over again and just change my files, and that's a lot quicker than loading the plugin, loading up the job, and then editing the files and selecting a new file. Or for that matter, say I have a list of them that I want to run, I can just rename them, delete these files, and have a new file and just name it keyword file 1 and keyword file 2, or whatever. So that's one advantage of how you can use mapped files. Another advantage of how you can use mapped files is, let's just do this real quick. Let me delete all these for simplicity's sake. And then do a couple of files here. Success, comments, and failed. Can't even spell. Comments. And so it's important that we create these first, and I'll tell you why for this particular example. But let's go back to Scrapebox and load up our Automator plugin. And let's say we do a harvesting run and whatever, and we're to the post content stage, and we want to export success and overwrite and export failed. Now for instance, the failed part here is what's most important, because on round 1 I want to post content, and then on round 2 I want to do another post content, but I want to post to the failed that came from round 1. So follow it up, post again, see if I get any more success, maybe because of dead proxies or congested network or timeouts or errors or whatever. So I just want to follow up and post to the failed. If I just hit browse and I say failed for comments round 1 and hit save, that file will be created, but it won't whenever this runs, so post content will run, and Scrapebox will go to export here, and it'll scroll down to failed, and it'll create that file. But when I go over here, I want to load that failed file back up in my blogs list, and go here, it's not there. And I can't do it because it doesn't exist. So an easy way around that, an easy way to be able to work with files that don't exist yet, is to create the file, like I did, failed comments, and click on it to overwrite it and hit yes. And then whenever the first round of posting is done, the failed will just overwrite that prior file, and then I go over here and I hit load blogs list, and failed comments, and the file exists, so I can load it in. And in that way, I can tell Scrapebox to overwrite that existing file of failed, and then in round 2, I bring that file of failed back in and post to it. Now, the caveat there is to make sure that if you're running a job, like we talked about a minute ago, over and over and over again, and just changing file names, if you export a success, for instance, and you've called it success comments, and then like we did here, and we call it success comments, and then we turn around and load this job back in tomorrow and run it again, it's going to overwrite our successful comments from today. So if you're going to do that, you just need to make sure that you, in order to avoid changing your job file all the time, I just grab this here and just move it to a new folder. So copy it here, and then it's copied there, and then now I can go ahead and go in and change that. Or maybe you're just creating a new job each time, and you don't have to worry about it being overwritten. But again, if you create a cool job you want to use that's convenient for you, and you want to use it over and over again, and it's overwriting files, just make sure that you have those files saved off if you need them. So that's really the core of how the Automator plugin works. I mean, tons and tons and tons of applications. Say you had 5 projects you wanted to build links to, you create this extensive job, and you have all the post content in there, and say you put post content with names and emails and everything for each particular blog, but the blogs list, let's say you select the same one every time. So you select this file that we're going to call blogs list, and you select that, and you do post content, and every time you select blogs list, and then for each project you use different names and emails and websites and comments, maybe because you're building links to 5 different websites, but you select the same blogs list every time. And then you can even choose different export successes. But then whenever you go into your list setup, if you get yourself an auto approve list, for instance, say you buy auto approve lists, or you make auto approve lists, or you download it on a forum, whatever, get you an auto approve list, and you just call it this blog list right here. You save your project file with your 5 websites and everything, and then you bring in your auto approve list and you rename it blogs list. Then as soon as you load your job file, it's going to go through and it's going to post all 5 projects in a row, all off that same list. That's one example. Another example is, you can do the delay like we talked about before. You can say you wanted to bring in results and check your competition. Say you wanted to do it like this. So harvest URLs, you say sell blue widgets. You want to track what the top 500 results are for blue widgets once a day, every day for a week, and analyze your competition or any kind of changes in Google. So you set up this harvest URLs, and then you do a delay and do it for a day, and then you duplicate this, and it comes right back in and does blue widgets 500 results, and export those harvested URLs, and save each. Of course, you'd want to name this one like day 1, day 2, that sort of thing, and then you run the job and come back in a week and you have all your results. The applications are really endless based on what you want to do. All the functions are there. I know they have more functions planned to add down the road as far as like commands and sequences and parameters and that sort of thing. And at the time of this video, the Automator plugin is $20. It might have gone up by the time you get to it, but that's what it is right now, which is a steal because the amount of time you save alone in just a day or two could well be worth that, as far as actual being able to do everything. And you could load this up, go on vacation for a week, come back and have a week's worth of work done for you while you're on vacation, rather than doing what I've always had to do in the past, take the laptop with me, and every night in the hotel I'm on the laptop and the internet while everybody else is going to the pool or doing whatever, and I'm logging onto servers and messing with Scrapebox and such. So really the possibilities are endless, but the Automator plugin opens the door to efficiently use Scrapebox and to be able to bring it all together without having to have you touch it, and even add wait delays and drip feed things and that sort of thing. So also with the Automator plugin, it attaches to your actual email address when you purchase it for your license, meaning if you have 3 licenses for Scrapebox and your email address is me@gmail.com, when you purchase it, it's going to attach to that me@gmail.com, and all 3 of your licenses are going to be activated for the Automator plugin. So you don't have to buy the plugin for each and every license. You just have to buy it once, and it attaches to all of your licenses. And that is how the Automator plugin works.